Well, the Lifeline is about to embark on its journey to Copenhagen. We're off to the talks. As you can see behind us, we've got climate campers, we're at embankments, and we're really excited to go. We've met up with some people here, so hopefully we'll be able to do some reports. So look forward to seeing Copenhagen.
At the UK border, we have an issue which may not arise at all and we hope won't, but we have to be aware of. We may find that they're going to use Schedule 7 of the Terrorist Act 2000 on us. If they do so, they can question us and detain us for up to 9 hours without any charge to determine whether you are or have been connected with terrorism, it says.
Just landed in Calais, no border issues, a couple of crates of beer were purchased from duty free for tonight, good vibe all around.
Nice to want to be there. Initially it's just the idea of a general mass movement and what we can build from the whole, you know, coming together of all different, mostly European nations.
The time's come and there's been a lot of talking and it's time to actually take some actions on our word.
If there was a dismal show, it would just be such a wasted opportunity to put pressure on these people.
I've got hesitations about what the results of Copenhagen might be, but I think in terms of looking back and it being a landmark whereby we know that these processes have been exhausted and are going to be fruitless, and it's up to us to take it into our own hands. So really to be there to mark that event.
Because we live in a capitalist society, that means that if things are cheap or things are free, it means that you actually can do more with your life. So I can be more of an activist if I do things for free, like if I eat food out of bins and stuff like this. If I'm vegan, it means that I can do things like get on a train and go to a meeting somewhere else, meet up with some cool people and plan an action or something like this.
Come to Copenhagen to protest against what the politicians are doing. And it's been good to get to meet people with the same sort of values and ideas about things. And I'm just going to stay out of trouble and still get the message through to the politicians that change needs to happen and stuff.
I'm here as a legal observer on behalf of Climate Camp, so basically ensuring that rights and responsibilities are upheld on both sides.
Here right now because I need to articulate my anger at a worthwhile platform somewhere, I guess.
But what I really like to bring is my own experience of living with low carbon, because all around me people are living with very, very little carbon. We off-grid for hot water and heating, and my neighbours are off-grid entirely for electricity, and they use about 20th of the average.
To work on the false solutions, as we call them, of climate change. So issues like biochar, that's one of our main ones, GM crops, maybe being pushed for clean development mechanisms.
And so I'm here representing myself and 77 others to help facilitate change for a more sustainable world.
We're in Germany. We're about 350 miles to go. And that's all I know.
Yeah, excited, kind of nervous about the border. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Pretty good though.
What's really interesting about sustainable travel is there's a lot of self-sacrifice that sort of goes on, because that's a sort of really cramped, warm bus.
People are starting to wake up a bit. There's more people getting off the coach than usual at these little pit stops, which will be nice because everyone needs to be nice and wide awake when we get to say our first Guten Tag to the Danish police.
I'm feeling a bit disappointed by some people on the bus who are taking unnecessary risk with their stupid things, like stencils and super glue and paint cans and Swiss Navy knives. I don't know why they brought these things here when it was crystal clear that we shouldn't be taking any risk that expose the rest. But well, I suppose this is first world activism.
We're in about 450 litres, so quite a lot of fuel. One way, yeah.
They're a kind of snapshots about the kind of problems we face, but there's hardly any joining of the dots between corporate lobbying and political policy outcomes, and that really is the crucial thing.
They're going to ask you what's the purpose of your visit to Denmark. I think what we're suggesting is perhaps don't mention the name climate camp. But say, I'm going to say I'm here as a tourist and here to kind of take part in peaceful demonstrations. Have you got another one?
We're here on the German-Danish border, and a few of us have been pulled off and having our bags checked, but everyone seems pretty reasonable. We were expecting a really long queue, but that hasn't happened so far, so things are looking quite good. So hopefully we're going to be able to get into Copenhagen in time for the march this afternoon.
Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to collect all your passports, okay, and then send them on. So if you can hand your passports down, it would be appreciated.
Cheers. How much people on board? 49. With the bus driver?
51. Yeah, having a chat with the driver seems okay. One thing is those, we have to be aware it's a bit strange, even having a border here. It's a Schengen zone. Usually there wouldn't be a border, but just for the COP, just for the protests and so on, they've reinstated this border.
I think the German police were very good actually. Surprised. Yeah, pretty relaxed compared to what I've seen before.
Oh yeah, basically just one of the German officers just came onto the bus and asked if anybody had any knives or any dangerous equipment or anything like that, and then had a bit of a joke and said he was gonna search anybody who was a Liverpool fan, and I put up my hand because I'm a Liverpool fan, proud of it. So I ended up just taking me outside, just identifying my bag, taking it out, showing him a few pens, my laptop, and whatever's in my bag. But yeah, pretty harmless, pretty friendly, and when frisked or anything like that, it was all very friendly. They're all very friendly indeed.
I think it's really important to see direct action in the widest possible way. So digging on your allotment is direct action, and getting involved with creating a local currency is direct action, and also potentially going on a march and all that stuff. But I think it's really, really important to see it really broadly, and also just loving yourself and loving your family. That's direct action. Just anything where you're making a difference.
So there's a report in New Scientist by David Strawn, whom I know. It's about oil depletion and peak oil, and I helped co-author a report which came out in October about peak oil, assessing the amount of conventional reserves left in the world. And we came to the conclusion, as David says, that there's a significant risk of peak oil happening before 2020. And in order to push the peak back any further beyond 2030, you have to make completely implausible and unrealistic, very optimistic assumptions about every stage of the procedure, from what you expect the decline curve to look like to how much reserves you expect there are left, every aspect of it, and that's really unrealistic. So significant risk of peak oil happening before 2020. And as we know, the Hirsch report, which was published in 2005, commissioned by the US Department of Energy, actually says that in order to prepare for peak oil, we have to start preparing 20 years in advance. We can mitigate the worst effects by starting to prepare 10 years in advance, but if we leave it any sooner than that, then we're screwed, basically.
There are bridges to build, and new maps of consciousness to be drawn up between every person on the planet. We are united cohabitants of this beautiful earth, and we are partners in our predicament. We are dreamers, thinkers, teachers, administrators. We are artists and architects, designers and gardeners, builders and ironworkers, scientists and skywalkers. Stubborn messengers of light and life. Friends, do not forget why we are here. In truth, we have the skills and we have the courage to build this bridge. For each other, for our children, for the earth, and for ourselves. If we can only keep our minds on what we really want, what we love,